Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Psychology Every Day. It is sort of pretty Saturday today, and I want to talk to you about something that is really important psychologically, uh, and that is the power and the meaning of letting go. Might be a bit of a longer video today. Please let me know if you like that, or if you keep or if you want the shorter ones, right? So I did get a microphone, but it didn't work. It made some sort of weird background noise, and I have to go in and replace it today. Hopefully, you can manage one more day with mediocre sound. Uh, so, about letting go. I got to doodle here on my notepad, which is great. Letting go. First, I want to talk about this one. This is you in the center, and these five things or people are everything in your life. And what that is of course different for different people. You can also see these five numbers as the five people that are closest to you. But also, if you take into account friends, family, work, where you live, and uh, you know, other hobbies and whatever, that is in a sum total your entire life. And there's only so much room in your life. If you go through a week and you count the people that you talk to and interact with, it's a very limited number. You may know a lot of people, but you don't spend time with them on a weekly or daily basis. And these people are going to influence you and your life to a very, very, very big extent. Hugely, especially your spouse. That is the number one, influence on your life, but also your closest friends. And you have to make sure that these people are good for you and that they make you happy. It's so easy to get, stuck with a high school friend or whatever that you've known forever, but you don't really like hanging out with them and they're not good for you. They're holding you back in life. And on the flip side, if you do manage to get friends or a partner that sort of lifts you up, that works in synergy with you, this is completely life changing. But that requires some room because, obviously, if you are monogamous and already have a partner, you don't have room for another one. But the same is true for your friends and for your work, of course. Most of us has, only one job, and that takes up the slot of our work. And each month and each year that you spend on this job is time wasted not doing what you really want or having a better job, the best job you can get, right? And then, if you take this into account, that you only have so much room because you only have so much time. Now, you got 24 hours a day, but if you subtract work, sleep, commute, and stuff, you are left with very precious little time. And I find that a lot of people just waste their time. They spend it watching TV. I wouldn't call video games a waste of time. If you're having fun on your leisure time, it's not really a waste of time. But I once heard a story about a guy who had a lecture and he had a glass. Most of you have probably heard it, but he filled it with rocks, right? And then he asked the audience, "Is the glass full?" And the audience says yes. And then he poured, gravel in it or sand or whatever, or gravel I think it was, and it sprinkled down amongst the bigger rocks. And then he asked, "Is the glass full?" And the audience said yes. And then he poured sand into it, and then it became completely solid, this glass. And then he asked, "Is the glass full now?" And the audience said yes. Then he explained that if you fill your life with sand first, there's going to be no room for rocks. And the rocks are the bigger things. But in the context of letting go, if you carry old rocks, you're not going to be able to pick up any new rocks. Also, I heard another version of this story where someone in the audience, took the glass and poured a beer in it and said, there's always room for a beer. But that's another story. So filling your time with, Netflix or whatever, different kind of fast food variations of life. Netflix is the fast food of entertainment, or perhaps, scrolling social media is even more fast food of entertainment. Pornography is the fast food version of love and romance. And these things are, and of course, fast food is the fast food of food, right? And all of these things, neurologically, psychologically, they sort of fill the need for that specific category. And this is a huge problem, because this is going to keep you from actually getting the real deal. They say that it's important to be bored sometimes, and what that means is that you have to stop doing, watching Netflix and go hang out with friends. And in the long run, you're going to find that much more enjoyable and meaningful. I'm going to talk about dopamine in a different video, but anyway, so make sure that you let go of things that occupy your time. Also, let go of people who are not good for you. That is, taking up a slot in life for better things, right? One of the ways that this really clicked for me is when I heard a physicist actually talk about black holes. And he explained that if you enter a black hole, you will inevitably come to the center of the black hole. Of course, this has some sort of advanced mathematical explanation that I don't understand. But he said that it is inevitable in the same way that, you can't stop it, the same way that you can't stop yourself from going into the next day. There's nothing to hold on to, or no way to, stop that process. And what I wrote here is this: you can't hold on to things, people, or places anymore that you can try to stay in Saturday. And this sounds pessimistic, but it is meant to be optimistic for the future. And that is, the future is coming whether you like it or not. You cannot, try to dig your heels in and stop and, remain in the past. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, places change, you change, people around you change, and things don't matter, right? And, sometimes it's nice to linger in beautiful memories, but trying to remain there is a huge, huge problem. Because we talked about making room, right? And, you have to embrace the future. Because if you think about the best things that has happened in your life. Just imagine for a second something really, good about your life. Um, Almost all of those things, if not all of those things, were once, of course, new, but also things that couldn't have happened if not previous things had disappeared or gone away or been let go of. And for me, an example, of course, was my gym, which I loved very much. But over the years, it became more of a burden and something that kept me locked down. And it wasn't until I sort of, gave up on it that I was able to move on in life. And of course, a safe job that you don't like is also hindering you from, you know, chasing your dreams, right? And it may seem scary at first, but in retrospect, it's just so obvious that you had to let go. And I've found this to be true over and over and over again. The problem is that we can't see into the future, right? So, our when we have something that is okay or mediocre or even bad, they say the devil you know is better than the one you don't. We we can't see into the future, so we don't know what is going to replace this mediocre thing, and we imagine that this mediocre thing is better than nothing. And that is one of the founding psychological truths of decision making. But nothing is room and potential, and that is one of the best things that you could ever hope for. Just imagine for a second that you have a job that you don't like very much, but it is safe. And the difference in if you have a lot of money or no money. And of course, if you have no money, then you have to hold on to this job and you won't like it. Imagine then if you had $1 billion, you would, of course, immediately drop this job to try and get a career that you really like. So it is the loss and insecurity that is completely stopping you. The only thing really from, really trying to accomplish what you really want. And from what I've seen, both in my life and in others, it's so much easier than you think to get what you really want if you just dare to let go and make an effort, of course, but letting go is for sure the hardest part. And of course, if you carry a backpack of rocks, it's of course going to bring you down. Uh, you can't put any more rocks in the backpack. But especially if it's negative things, then carrying that with you, if you don't have to, is it seems moronic, right? And yet we do it all the time. So, you know, you have to let go of the past to embrace the future. Because if you think about it, if you think about your future and what it could be, then, you know, that's not really so hard then if you imagine that you sort of get what you want, if you do the things you have to do. But the hardest part for sure is accepting that things and people change and you change, because you really, really try to hold on and, bask in the happiness of the past. And that's a tough one because you can't do it. Um, you have to maintain relationships all the time, and even then, sometimes they don't pan out, and that may be with friends or your spouse or whatever. But life works like life does, with entropy and atrophy or whatever. Things grow and things die, and things die to give nourishment to things that grow. And that is, symbolically true for your life as well. Things have to die for new things to grow. And if you think about it like that, what things may come, it's so much easier. Just try to imagine a good future for yourself and let go of the things that is stopping you from getting there. That goes into the last thing I wrote. Make room. I hope you have a great Saturday. I'm gonna go and get a new microphone, and tomorrow is Sports Psychology Sunday. It's gonna be about priming, which is a very cool idea. So I will see you then. Please like and subscribe.